Radio News.
And now, The Monty Show on KGO 810.
11:06 KGO 810, The Monty Show with you. 80-810 to call KGO. Hey, coming up here in minutes, we're supposed to hear from the school superintendent in Newtown, Connecticut. And as that happens, we'll bring that to you live. But without further ado, I want to get out to the KGO Live line and get Oakland City Councilmember Rebecca Kaplan on the Monty Show at KGO. And, Rebecca, I'll ask you just straight up, when you heard the news about this Connecticut shooting, what went through your mind? How did you feel when you heard the news?
Well, first, obviously, it's a tragedy. And so the first reaction is the horror of the tragedy and the sympathy and prayers for the family members. But as someone who is also a city council member and who also shares responsibility for ensuring public safety and stopping gun violence in our city, I do think it's also important that we look at it not just from the emotion, but from the question of what we can do. And what we need to be doing in Oakland includes providing the law enforcement resources to stop the gun violence that has become a problem in our city. And so that means working on legislative efforts, including one we're going to hear at the council in January, to increase the law enforcement resources to allow increased deployment, as well as some of the new technology we're bringing on board to specifically focus on cutting down on gun violence.
Do you believe what happened in Connecticut could happen in Oakland?
Well, in many ways, it already does. I mean, if the number of shootings don't happen all in one moment, this already is a problem in Oakland, and the number of gun crimes has gone up over the past 2 years after the police layoffs that were done in 2010. And so I think we need to start at least where we can agree. We need the police resources to deploy to prevent and respond to the gun crimes. We need to crack down on illegal gun sales. This is a country, obviously, that has a lot of different feelings about gun policy, but I think we could all agree that people who are illegally selling guns, which is a huge problem for the crime in Oakland, in contrast to what you mentioned with the school shootings, most of the gun crime committed in Oakland is committed with guns that are illegally purchased. So a serious crackdown on the illegal sellers, all of whom, by the way, are coming from outside of Oakland. There's no gun stores, there's no gun manufacturers in Oakland. So the illegal gun dealing is crossing county lines and in many cases is crossing state lines. So a serious crackdown on the illegal gun dealing would actually go a long way towards stopping the kind of gun crime that Oakland struggles with.
Talking to Oakland City Councilmember Rebecca Kaplan on the Monty Show at KGO. Have you, Rebecca Kaplan, done a good job of supporting the police department in Oakland, and do you feel like you are part of the solution for the violence that's happening in Oakland?
Well, there's two specific examples of things that I have specifically helped to do recently. One is that we've adopted the ShotSpotter technology that is specifically targeted on stopping gun crime. There's a legislative proposal that's been introduced by Councilmember Libby Schaaf, which I am actively supporting, which we will vote on in January, to add more personnel to help beef up our police department. And as people have probably heard in the news this week, I'm very pleased that we this week helped to solve a looming problem with the federal receivership and the negotiated settlement agreement from that decade-old police misconduct litigation. And this solution, which I supported and was pleased to help pass, will allow for a more direct approach toward resolving the outstanding concerns from the prior litigation, but it also gives our police officers a lot more certainty, and it gives them a voice in the process. And so I think that will remove one impediment that will therefore allow for more effective work going forward.
As we visit with Oakland City Councilperson Rebecca Kaplan on KGO, stick around. We're just 2 minutes away from breaking news regarding that Connecticut school shooting next on KGO. Rebecca, the reason I ask you that about you specifically, I have been disappointed with the council's actions and the things you guys have said and done in not supporting the police department. And you mentioned this receivership, and you talked about, going forward. Why should I believe now that you and this council, who have not supported the police department or Howard Jordan, what is different? Why should I believe now that you as a body will do that?
Well, first, to answer the political question, of course, as many people recognize, the most devastating impact on our crime-fighting abilities for the past several years was the dramatic and significant police layoffs that some of my colleagues engaged in 2010 and then again in 2011. In all cases, I voted against the layoffs, and in every vote, I voted to increase the numbers. Since the people who led the effort to cut the police force lost the election, there should no longer be a fight about that. And in January, we're going to vote to take some immediate actions to increase our police personnel. And I expect that is very likely to pass, and I'm fully supporting it. It's written by Councilmember Libby Schaaf, co-authored by Council President Larry Reed. So I think with the outcome of the election, and let me make clear, I fully support increasing the numbers. The voters of Oakland voted for higher numbers, voted for a minimum of 803.
Is Howard Jordan the right guy to be the chief of police in Oakland?
Well, the agreement that we've entered into with the approval this week of the federal court will create an opportunity for outside review of that question. And so that question has been removed from the council and put into someone else's hands.
Rebecca,
I will fully support
Howard Jordan the right guy? Let me tell you, I believe that Howard Jordan's the right guy. I think the mayor, Gene Kwan, who I know that is an ally of yours, I think the mayor has done a bad job of supporting him. So I'm asking you, is somebody
if I will support him, I absolutely will support him. I think he's working incredibly hard. He's been local in Oakland, devoted to Oakland for decades, and he's doing an incredibly admirable job at a very difficult task. And I absolutely will have his back, and that's part of why I'm supporting this effort to increase our resources. I mean, if you took any group of workers and you dramatically cut the numbers and then you said to them, why aren't you getting the job done, it would be a problem. And with the deep cuts that were done to our police department, it's really created a problem, and we really need to get those numbers back up, as well as use some of the technology that can also strengthen. The shot spotter allows them to determine exactly where and when a shot is fired.
Yeah.
So if you combine that with enough police that every time we detect a shot fired, we deploy immediately and we catch the people. My goal in Oakland is that we should develop the reputation and the reality that if you take a shot, you will get caught. And that requires the combination of the technology and the personnel deployment.
Yeah. Hey, Rebecca, I know I've chased you for a long time. I appreciate you coming on. I hope at some point we can talk at length about solutions for Oakland. I wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to continue to talk about it as we continue to move Oakland forward.
All right. Good luck with that. Rebecca Kaplan, the council member at large in Oakland, talking about